Nisour Square Incident. On September 16, 2007, the streets of Baghdad were already tense with the ever-present hum of war. But that day, a single event would ignite international outrage and forever stain the name of Blackwater. What happened at Nisour Square wasn't just a tragedy. It was a flashpoint, exposing the dark complexities of privatized warfare and the blurred lines between defense and aggression. Blackwater contractors were escorting a diplomatic convoy through the crowded streets of Baghdad. The mission, by the book, was routine: transport U.S. State Department personnel safely through a city plagued by insurgency. But when they entered Nisour Square, something went horribly wrong. Within minutes, gunfire erupted, and when the smoke cleared, 17 Iraqi civilians lay dead. Among them were women and children. Dozens more were injured. What triggered the shooting remains a matter of fierce debate. Blackwater claimed their convoy was under attack, possibly by a car bomb or armed insurgents, and that they responded in self-defense. But multiple Iraqi witnesses and later investigations contradicted that claim. They said there was no threat, no weapons, no provocation, just panic, chaos, and the roar of heavy gunfire. The aftermath was immediate and explosive. The Iraqi government condemned the incident as a massacre. Protests broke out across Baghdad. Demands were made for Blackwater's expulsion. U.S.-Iraq relations, already strained, nearly snapped under the weight of the public fury. Suddenly, the veil of secrecy surrounding private military contractors was torn open. For the first time, the world truly saw the scope of Blackwater's power and the consequences of unregulated warfare. These were not soldiers bound by the uniform code of military justice. They were private operatives, immune to Iraqi law and operating under legal gray zones carved out by U.S. defense contracts. The question on everyone's lips: how could so much lethal force be placed in hands that answered to no battlefield commander? The U.S. government launched investigations, and the FBI concluded that at least 14 of the killings were unjustified. After years of legal battles, several Blackwater guards were charged and tried in American courts. In 2014, one was convicted of first-degree murder. 3 others were found guilty of manslaughter. But the story didn't end there. In December 2020, in one of the most controversial acts of presidential clemency in U.S. history, President Donald Trump pardoned all 4 men. Human rights organizations and foreign governments condemned the decision. For many Iraqis, the pardon was salt in an open wound, a final insult after years of seeking justice. The Nisour Square incident became a symbol of how the rules of war were evolving, how corporations had become embedded in military operations, and how accountability could vanish behind classified contracts and political interests. It forced lawmakers to reconsider the role of private contractors. It fueled documentaries, reports, and books dissecting the dangers of outsourcing war. And yet, Blackwater survived. It rebranded. It evolved. But the name Nisour Square would forever cling to it like a shadow that couldn't be erased. It wasn't a secret mission. It wasn't a battlefield victory. It was a tragedy. A defining moment when the world paused to ask, what happens when war goes private, and who pays the price when something goes wrong? In the end, Nisour Square wasn't just a crossroads in Baghdad. It was a crossroads for the future of modern warfare, a place where bullets and contracts collided, and the true cost of unchecked power was laid bare for all to see.